and how you've seen that change over your course of time. What are other advancements that the league is looking into? Sampath was talking about, you can monitor this. There's the security aspect of everything, but where are you with that?
I think the key piece that I would say we're talking about today is that coach-to-coach communication. What we call a lot of times the hardware of it's like mission critical, right? It's like that has to work. That's the communication from the box to the field, around that set, how loud it is. When you have the engineers down on the sideline and they hear how loud it is, especially in stadiums with fans, that it's just electric in there. They have to be able to have a conversation, and usually a conversation involves screaming, but it's screaming, but still within the headphones. And so having that technology is imperative for the game to be able to happen. And then also that communication, the communication with our broadcast partners, communications with our office in New York, if it's a replay, and they always say they go back to New York, it's an actual room, it's a command center. It's like the red emergency phone that you would have, like the president may have. We have that it's not red, but it could be, right? It makes sense. And they could wear this jacket, right, with a check on the side. But all of those pieces of that technology of the game actually happening, you could have the game without all of those pieces, without the fans, but that's not what we've become. And so I think the evolution from that will continue to then roll into that fan experience. Mm-hmm. At this point today, there's no ability right now where you can actually, other than our broadcast partners, you can hear what's happening within those moments, but can fans have those unique experiences someday? Possible. And you guys are so ahead of it. Right now on Blue Jeans, as we think about that virtual element, how can you actually, within these new technologies of metaverse and other areas, be there without really being there? Maybe this is in the metaverse next time through Blue Jeans. And so I think, which is really interesting to think about that, what next opportunity that's there.
The connectivity, obviously, I actually have a problem with it. When I first got in the NFL, when the coach would call the play, he calls it on a speaker into my ear, and maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the game it would go out, and I just call my own play. Sometimes when he started calling a bad play, I just pretend I can't hear you. Right? I'll call my play, but now it doesn't happen anymore, right? It doesn't happen. I tried it one time. I was like, hey, I couldn't hear it. They're like, the backup quarterback was there, and he's like, no, I heard it fine in my helmet.
Yeah.
Hey, pal, come on.
We get all these things where partners are like, they're saying it's the product, and we're like, we know it's not. Yeah. And it's like, we know it works, and that's because it has to work. Look, and we've had experiences where Beyonce was singing in New Orleans during the halftime show, and the power went out. But at the same time, all the technology still worked. And so as we continue to think about the evolution of these things, I was at a game last year, a Chargers game, and the stadium was struck by lightning. And the part of the ring light went out, but all of the tech still worked. And which is interesting, the Chargers, they're a lightning bolt.
Right.
Kind of thought, is this like a promotional stunt?
Yeah, they took the fan experience to a serious, scary level.
What's happening? But I think all of the evolution of technology, again, and I hate to say COVID pushed us forward, but a lot of what you guys do, we really learned a lot of that technology, that side by side, through the virtual elements of